Hello everyone, this is Korosh Erfani and today is Thursday, January 1st, 2026. Before anything, I wish you a very good New Year, and I hope that you are going to have an excellent 2026 as, let's say, better than 2025. Alright, as promised, I start the production and publication of my videos in a new channel, which is Korosh Erfani English in YouTube, and you can have all the details for this new channel in a video that I have published in my usual YouTube channel, Korosh Erfani. And here I am going to publish only and only the videos that are in English and related to the different fields in which I am working, like politics, sociology, philosophy, and sometimes other subjects and topics related to social sciences. Alright, for today and to start, I'm going to talk about what's going on in Iran right now. As you know, we have the protests since, let's say, at least for 4 or 5 days now, and the news is almost everywhere. As you can see here in CNN, for example, protests erupt in Iran over currency plunge to record low. Here we have an update on Al Jazeera with several killed as Iran protests over rising cost of living spread. So there are many things that are getting published right now across the media and social medias. So I don't want to present a very let's say complete and exhaustive analysis regarding what is going on in Iran, but I am just trying to clarify some points that can help us to understand better the current events. In order to do so, I will present several points that would be maybe interesting regarding these events, these protests that are getting somehow spreading off right now for more than 50 cities across the country, and it's possible to have even more in the coming days. So these points start with the first one here. We should know that the current protests have really an economic origin, right? So as you can see here, it's a matter of the protest against the very high cost of living that the people cannot afford. So it's a matter of economy and affordability. Right, we have a huge inflation in Iran. I am going to explain about that when I'm talking about the Iranian economy, but we should know that the inflation is huge for the food and necessities. It's a matter of 50 to 100% inflation, and for some cases, in general, let's say, inflation is between 40 to 50%, but for food is even more than that. So the first thing to understand the current protest is the economic nature of that, right? And from this we can effectively develop more points. The second one is that we should not really exaggerate about what's going on. Any exaggeration means that we don't know exactly that country and the situation. We are far from really a revolution, right? Even though a revolution is potentially possible in Iran, but right now, in January 1st, 2026, we are far from that. And that's why if you see here and there telling you that the regime is going to collapse or to fall or to be overthrown is not true. We are not yet there, and even though there are huge potential for a radical movement in Iran. I am going to explain that too. The third point is that we should consider the Iranian economy as a dead economy. It is a really dead walking economy. Actually, there is no, in the usual and conventional meaning of the term, any economy in Iran is just a system in which everyone tries to survive, by whatever method or manner or style, and there is no rules, there is no control, there is no supervision, and that's why either we believe in the fact that the Iranian economy is dead and it needs a restructuration, really a huge, massive restructuring movement. And don't forget that usually this kind of restructuring action cannot be done without serious changes in the political structure. So it's not something that we can only focus on economy for doing so. It's almost impossible, and this is also another point that I will develop. But keep in your mind that with an inflation between 50 to 100%, with a currency that doesn't have any value anymore, this is almost the lowest level of value for a currency across the world, in the ranking. So there is nothing that can give any hope, any perspective for the Iranian economy in the coming days if the conditions continue in this way. So that's why when I said at the beginning that the protest have a economic origin, economic nature, this is it, because the economy is dead and the people don't know how they have to survive, and there is no really any hope for improvement, for amelioration, nothing. The people are extremely desperate, and the protest effectively is the only way that they can say something about that. Okay, let's see the other point. So on the other hand, there are many efforts on social media to reduce effectively the protest through a kind of plot. It's something done by foreigner and by the Israeli, by Mossad, and we have a lot of social media posts like this one, presenting, for example, the people who have been arrested among the protesters and who were somehow or to some extent related to Israeli Mossad, presented as Mossad agent. Even though this is true, and we don't have any doubt about the infiltration of Israeli agents among the protesters, if we forget about the root causes of the movement, then we are going to have a very bad judgment on on what's going on in Iran. So in order to keep effectively an unbiased point of view on this protest, I think it's better to strike a balance between the reality, the socio-economic reality of this movement on the one hand, and on the other hand, the efforts of Mossad as the enemy, effectively, as the archenemy of Iran, to do something in order, to make the situation worsen. So that's why the other point that I would like to draw your attention on is that Israel wants the destruction of Iran. Israel wants the annihilation of Iran. Exactly the same scenario that Israel wants for Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, the West Bank, and so on. So that's the idea of destroying completely the Middle East in order to control them and to create effectively the greater Israel. So the idea for Iran is to use the opportunity of this protest or something like that, combining that with a military attack and getting as a result, disintegration of Iran. Because we know that in the aftermath of such a situation, a combination of war and the riots inside, of course, it would be possible to disintegrate Iran into, I don't know, maybe 120 countries or something like that. So that's why we should be aware about the possibility and the firm intention of Israel to do so. We don't have any doubt about the wicked and the nasty intention of Israel regarding Iran, which is destruction and disintegration. So that's why we should be aware about the direct or indirect intervention, involvement of Israel in this movement. We know that there is a huge investment by Israeli on one of his agents, which is Reza Pahlavi, the son of the former Shah of Iran, and they are trying seriously to use this stupid guy in order to, do this very negative objective for Iran, which is the disintegration of Iran. They know that Reza Pahlavi is not the man of the situation. They know that there wouldn't be any government. The central government in Iran is just using this con artist in order to prevent, the formation, the constitution of any serious alternative. Right, and from that moment they would be able to do effectively whatever they want with an Iran that is completely, in disorder, in shambles, and of course this is what they are doing right now in Syria and very soon in Lebanon. So that's why we should be aware about that. So people are asking, but what about the United States? What the United States wants regarding Iran? My point of view is this one. The United States doesn't have, we are talking about the current United States administration. It doesn't have any specific or elaborated strategy regarding Iran, and because of the influence of Zionists over the Trump administration, this administration will follow any plan or any plot shaped and designed by Israel regarding Iran. It could be bombing Iran, bombing with the nuclear bombs, or destroying completely Iran, disintegrating Iran, anything that is for the benefit of Israel. Of course, the United States will support it and will follow it without any problem. Another point, on the other hand, two superpowers, China and Russia, they don't want really seeing Iran getting into a chaotic situation. They want stability in Iran at any cost. That's why they support effectively the Iranian government in order to control the situation. Why? Because they know that once the current government effectively loses completely the control of Iran, there would be a chaos. And the chaos means the installation of the pro-Occidental, pro-Western forces in Iran. It could be the local governments, because it will be disintegrated. There wouldn't be any, entirety for the current country that we know as Iran. Once Israel and the United States intervene there militarily, coming along with what is going on right now as riots and so on and so on. At the end of the day, there won't be any central government for Iran, because there won't be any Iran. There would be many Irans, with the local governments and regional governments, all under the influence of Israel first, and maybe some other countries around Iran, like Azerbaijan, another agent of Israel, Turkey, on the other hand, maybe with the arrival of Taliban in the east region of the Iranian territory. So all of these will be effectively many countries. We can be sure we have already the model of Syria as an disintegrated country by Israel, and we know how it works. No country in the region can get around this black and dark scenario, that Israel is designing for all the Middle East countries. So we should be aware about that. All right. So that's why Russia and China won't let Israel and the United States coming to intervening directly in Iran. If it's the case, that would be war, and we are talking about a regional war, a lot of war, and that would be effectively a war with the direct support of China and Russia for the Iranian government. So we have some unofficial news regarding the arrival of a lot of weaponries and equipment for the Iranian military right now during these last, let's say, 2-3 days. And most probably China and Russia are aware that Israel is preparing something, and that's why they are trying to get anything that's necessary for the Iranian regime to be able to maintain itself, to keep itself alive. All right. The other point is we know that there have been protests in Iran for years, starting in at least we can start with the 2009 with the Green Movement, and then several others till the movement known as the movement of Mahsa Amini just 2 years ago, right? So that's why there are really very deep and rooted causes that are generating more and more protests in Iran. And as I told you, the economy is now the main cause of everything that's happening. And because we said that the Iranian economy is dead, we can believe that there are enough reasons, justification for more and more movements. So that's why without a serious change, as we said, a restructuring of the economy entirely, it's impossible that these movements stop at any moment. It could have the ephemeral, stops for a few months, 1 year, and then it starts again and again. So that's why we should be aware about this continuity of the movement that cannot stop at all. Then we should know that what we call the Iranian government is just a formal term for a reality that doesn't exist anymore. something that can be called, functionally speaking, Iranian government doesn't exist anymore. The Iranian government is right now reduced to just repressive forces that are, the law enforcement, police, guards, anti-riot guards, things like that, or the revolutionary guardians. But otherwise, we are aware about the reality that this government and the Pezeshkian government doesn't have any control on, without any exaggeration, more than 70% of what is going on in the country. Maybe this number is shocking for those who are not familiar with what's going on inside Iran, but for us, as those who are permanently observing and analyzing the situation in Iran, we are aware that the government is right now almost completely dysfunctional. And that's why when you don't have the governance, the government becomes useless, and the people delegitimize it completely and start to, think about or finding the way to get rid of that. This is what is going on right now in Iran, and that's a reality. Another point is that when we say the Iranian regime, we must be aware that we are talking about an extremely heterogeneous entity. It's not the Iranian government or Iranian regime of in the 80s or 90s. Now we have a mafia structure. The nature of the regime right now is extremely mafious. There are the mafia bands, the mafia gangs that are controlling the different parts of the Iranian economy or the Iranian military establishment system, the military machine. So that's why this regime is not able really to act coherently. It cannot have a coherent policy. Every mafia is trying, to get over the others, and in order to have more and more advantages. So that's why with this structure, a completely mafious structure, we cannot hope anything positive for the Iranian politics in the future. So combining all these elements, I can talk about each of them for hours, but I would like to summarize by saying that when you put all these elements and many more aside, you can see that at the end of the day, a neutral point of view on what is going on in Iran, an unbiased one, will get to this conclusion. A change is absolutely necessary in Iran, and as you can see, I put the word inevitable. It's unavoidable. The Iranian government, the Iranian regime, the Iranian system, the Iranian leadership, whatever you call that, cannot really get around anymore from a serious structural change in Iran. So this necessity of change has been there for, without any exaggeration, at least for 2 decades, right? 20 years, we can say. But the Iranian regime tried to maneuver, to postpone, to put it off as much as possible, as long as possible. But now we are really at the end of this possibility of playing with the different cards in order to deceive the people, to deceive the Iranian society. We should be aware that there is a huge discrepancy between what is culturally and socially Iranian nation, and again culturally and socially the Iranian elite or the Iranian ruling class. You know, the state nation is just a notion in Iran, and the Iranian appreciate that. The Iranian really are attached historically to the notion and to the reality of the state nation. But sociologically, talking about state and nation doesn't have any really coherence, any kind of structural cohesion between what is the Iranian regime and what the Iranian nation is. So that's why we must be aware about the material reality of discrepancy, which is a society that is completely, fit to the high level of modernity. Iranian society is extremely progressist and looking for serious changes in order to have democracy, in order to have freedom, in order to have material well-being and anything that is necessary for living as a modern democratic nation. But on the other hand, you have a regime composed of the social group or social classes that are completely, we can say, retrograde. They are defaced compared to the Iranian society. They are old, they are mafious, they are extremely advantage and profit oriented for themselves. It's very ethnocentric actually, and that's why you cannot find any link between the Iranian nation and Iranian government. The Iranian government is just imposed to the Iranian nation. And we shouldn't forget that the origin of this regime goes back to the Iranian Revolution of 1979, which was we can say, completely designed move or coup by Israelis. Even though today, and essentially after this 12 days war between Iran and Israel, hearing the fact that the Iranian regime is the result of a plot of Israeli in Iran in 1979 against the regime of Shah, and bringing the people who are completely aligned with the plan of Zionists for the Middle East in power could be really odd and bizarre, but that's reality. For us Iranians, we know that we are aware about the fact that the Iranian regime is not representing what the Iranian people were looking during what we call Iranian Revolution of 1979 at all. So that's why after 48 years now, we are at a point that this unwanted regime, undesired regime, has completely destroyed the country, including economy, and is now looking for waging a very destructive war with Israel. And the Iranian nation here will be the first victim of this dirty game. So that's why I invite you, when you are looking for what's going on in Iran and how to interpret it, to take into consideration the points that had been developed in this video, and also many other points of view that are getting us a better understanding of the reality beyond what we think that is a very formal and let's say superficial interpretation of the things. I know that this 12 days war brought a lot of positive attention on the Iranian regime, which is understandable because of the hate of Israel as a genocidal government. This is understandable, but on the other hand, you should understand the hell in which the Iranian nation is living for more than 40 years now, and how effectively we have to strike, as I said, a balance between both reality. On the one hand, all the negativity that we can find, any negative feeling or aspect we can find in the Israeli Zionist genocidal regime, and on the other hand, the anti-democratic, anti-Iranian nature of the Iranian regime. The Iranian regime doesn't have anything with our culture, with our history, with our philosophy, and that's why we need effectively something else. Iranian philosophy, is recommending the Persian pre-Islamic philosophy was recommending effectively peace, coexistence, and having effectively a very progressive view on almost everything. Social relationship, elaboration of civilization, dealing with nature, dealing with other people. It doesn't have anything with this vision that the Iranian regime is presenting as an Islamic vision, because we know that the Islam had been effectively created by Judaism. Islam is the Arab version of Judaism, and we must try to deepen more and more our analysis in order to avoid any superficialism and getting just the form and what we see as warranted. There is no really any easy understanding of the situation, and that's why in my channel I am going to try to give you more and more information about Iran, about the Middle East, and about the nature of what we call Abrahamic capitalism, which is the greater system in which all these topics are integrated. So this is just the beginning to give you a pre-taste of what you are going to listen in this channel, if I am alive and if I can effectively provide everything that I had planned to present in this channel. Thank you very much. Again, I wish you a happy new year. I hope 2026 will be a little better than 2025, but don't forget that we are all not only observer but also actor. Okay, so nobody must really neglect the little role that one can have in all of this, and that's why actions, organization, and effectively being present in everything that's happening is necessary. We are going to talk about that much more. I invite you to subscribe to this channel, and also if you can help to promote this new channel, Korosh Erfani English, in order to have more and more viewers. Thank you very much, and see you very soon.